friends! How are you doing today? I am doing well, I hope you are too. We are going to be doing a watercolor work today with some watercolors, paintbrushes, and we will also be needing some sort of painting surface. You don't need watercolor paper, but in our last experiments or art projects, we have noticed that the regular construction paper or the regular printer paper is absorbing the watercolor a little too much for certain art projects. This might be one of them. We will be needing a glue bottle. I'm not sure if I said that. We'll be needing a surface to pour salt onto, which means we will also be needing a thing of salt. This is kind of like that glitter method that we usually do. We pour the glitter over the glue and we kind of tip it over and let all the salt run off into the pan or a tray, whatever we are using. So let's go ahead and get our paper and join me right back over here and we will go ahead and get started. I have all of my materials in front of me. I didn't mention this, but you will need something to trace a design with. We are going to make any type of design. I'm going to make a bunch of loop-de-loops. Okay, nothing crazy. Something you can trace with the glue bottle. That's what we're going to be putting over the, you can't really see that from there, can you? These are all my little squigglies. I'm going to cover them with a glue bottle, glue, so that we can pour our salt on top of it, and we will be experimenting with painting on top of salt. So let's go ahead and get your glue. Now you don't want to leave any blank spaces where you can see the pencil through the glue. That space that you're leaving blank will just be left blank when you start to cover it with salt and paint it. So it'll kind of disrupt the pattern. You'll want to cover all of your lines with glue. I would say gluing is definitely the most time-consuming part of this art project. All right, so my paper is covered in this glue all over my pattern that I drew with the pencil. Now I'm going to get my pan and lay my paper inside. We're gonna start sprinkling some salt over this pattern that we have made. Sprinkle all over, try to focus on the glue areas. And if you miss some spots, try to conserve with the salt you have shaken to the bottom here like this. All right, so now my glue is covered in salt. So now I'm going to take this to my surface below, get rid of all this salt here. Okay. Now we're ready to start getting our paints and our paintbrushes. So I have my first color that I'm going to use and a paintbrush ready. You're going to want to get your brush pretty wet and let it be soaking so that when you drop it over that salt, it's going to just drop a dot of paint. Touch that dot to the salt, and the salt and the glue should absorb the paint and kind of spread its way just like it would if we were regular watercoloring and laid a line of water down. So make sure to keep your brush full of paint. Now you can see where I have started to paint, and you can see that it's kind of, whoa, it's kind of rushing through the salt. Don't lift your paper up like that, guys. It's going through the salt and making a little design. So I am going to move on to the next color. Going to be done with my green here and move on to my next color. I am noticing that this is leaking past the salt for some reason on mine. Over here it's kind of spreading, and that may be because that I'm using not regular watercolors. I don't know if you remember, but we made these out of markers and water. So I'm kind of thinking that the water was a little too much for this art project, but so far it's looking okay. You can just tell that it's spreading a little bit more than a regular watercolor would. of dropped a little dot in between my lines, but that's okay. It kind of looks like it's part of my design. Okay guys, this is my finished product here. I can't really lift it up because it's still wet and it's going to drain down to the bottom if I lift up and show you, but you can see it pretty well from here. Like I said, some of these things are blending in together that I didn't plan on blending together, but that was probably because of the paints and what they were made out of. I would love to see your pictures to see how your colors blended together, how you made a pattern, what kind of pattern did you make. I would love to see your artwork regardless of what it looks like. So drop some pictures, let me see, and I will see you tomorrow, guys.